Audio Jungle.
Namaskar, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I feel so blessed and honored to have you over here on Unique Achievers Show and illuminate this bunch of questions through Bhagavad Gita.
Thank you. I'm
Yeah.
also happy to be here.
Yes, sir. So most of the youth, even we had lots of questions about like after this pandemic and all, lots of businesses have gone down, and even in the relationship also, people have faced the problems. So going from throughout this, how to develop the inner contentment and acceptance. So how can we get it from Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah, good question. That especially after this pandemic,
Yeah.
many people's eyes have been opened. People
Yeah.
are like little shaken apart to the
Shaken
realities.
up also, and they are also devastated. Now they are thinking of how to come out. Okay, they are doing for their family, but their happiness is not there.
Yeah. So Bhagavad Gita speaks about these principles only of contentment, satisfaction, peace. So basically, in essence, the Gita tells us that we are all spirit, souls, Atma. So the problem comes, we being Atmas, when we try to find satisfaction on the bodily level, mental level, the Atma is never happy.
Okay.
We may find some little joy here and there, but as you said, there is no satisfaction.
Yeah.
That satisfaction will come on that spirit level, Atma level. And what does it mean when that Atma makes a connection with Paramatma through the process of spirituality? This is called yoga in Sanskrit. So when the Atma connects to God, that is where there will be happiness, satisfaction. We give this example just like a fish. A fish, if it is out of water, the fish is never going to be happy.
Yeah.
But if the fish goes in water, it will be happy. So for the fish
Correct.
to be happy, it is not a very complex. Happiness is not a very complex subject. It's a very simple subject. The fish needs water, that's all.
Yeah.
Similarly, for Atma, for us to be happy, the only thing we need is connection with God.
Yeah.
If that is there, then we can actually manage all the difficulties in life and experience peace and satisfaction.
Prabhuji, you spoke about Atma means soul.
Yeah.
It is said that it is never born and dies. What does it mean exactly?
That means the Atma is eternal.
Okay.
See, Atma it has the same qualities as Paramatma.
Okay.
So the quality is Satchid Anand. Sat refers to eternal.
Okay.
Eternal basically means there is no birth, there is no starting, there is no ending. In this material world, everything has a start and end.
Yeah.
Everything in this world.
Yeah.
The building has a start and end. Our body has a start and end. Everything in this world has a start and end. That is how the material world is designed. The spiritual world doesn't have a start and end. It is eternal.
Okay.
The Atma actually belongs to the spiritual world. The Atma is eternal. So the Atma goes from one body to another. The Atma just moves from one body to another, but the Atma is eternal. The body dies, but the Atma continues. Therefore, Krishna tells in the Gita, Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yovanam jara tata dehantara prapti dhiras tattarna muhyati. Just like in this own body, we have changed bodies now. We have a body as a child, then adult, old age. At the time of death, the soul will give up this body and enter into another body.
Okay.
The journey will keep continuing like that.
So basically, if in this life, if I go to the spiritual path, so will I get the ultimate goal or ultimate happiness of my life?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. This is the only path that will actually give happiness.
Yeah. So basically, this Goan, or you say those who are settled in Goan, the Goan people, if you talk about, for example, we have habit of having non-veg things. Am I correct? So by having this non-veg things, can we at least reach the level of spirituality or the of path of spirituality?
I would say when you start taking up spirituality, then certain things become more clearer for you.
Okay.
Definitely, for someone who's practicing spirituality, being a vegetarian is highly recommended.
Okay.
Because in the path of spirituality, we are seeking the mercy of God. No.
Yeah.
We want daya of God,
Yeah.
kripa of God. So it is also important that we show daya to others.
Yeah.
So even in our food, the daya part should be there.
Okay.
So therefore, for spiritualists, compassion, simple eating, simple living is something that's very, very conducive. But for those who start spirituality, they may not be able to give it up immediately. But if they practice proper spirituality and the proper guidance, then automatically desires will change.
Yeah. Okay.
Automatically these desires will come that probably let me go to a more sattvic diet, more ahimsa type diet, like that. We have seen, in our uh, classes of Bhagavad Gita and our preaching, there are so many goans who come who have these habits.
Yeah.
But the process of Gita, the Gita Bhagavad is so powerful, the process of bhakti is so powerful. Just by taking it up slowly on their own, we don't have to tell them. On their own, they feel like giving it up.
So basically, this is 21st century. The kids grow up, they go out, they see how others enjoy and all. So basically, they came across the spirituality also. They also feel that non-veg is not good. Okay, they try also that okay, we'll keep veg and we'll move towards the spirituality, yoga and all. But some certain point of time, because the environment is such that all are non-veg lovers and he is only the veg, but ultimately the desire comes out, he cannot help out also.
Yeah,
For them, uh, how to control on it.
good, very good point. So therefore, satsang is something that is very important.
Yeah.
Satsang means association. Like you only said, a child may want to do, but then friend circle takes him away.
No, even family members are
Exactly.
like non-veg lovers.
Exactly. So association is important. So now to counteract this influence, he needs a positive association. So therefore, satsang is very important. When someone keeps coming to regular satsang, associates with devotees, those who are trying to live a proper spiritual life, then by their sangha, things will change and that support system will come.
Yeah.
When you have this, at least you can reach out to some devotee and then it happens. So alone, single person to practice spirituality,
Yeah.
as you said, in 21st century Kali Yuga. What you call 21st
Yeah.
century is Kali Yuga is back
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
So Kali Yuga is very, very difficult. Therefore, power of group is important.
So basically, when the person is wants to go on spiritual path, whatever the medium would be, the others are saying that some things, for example, party thing or eating anything, going somewhere, it's the things are for enjoyment. Then you enjoy and move on. It's
Yeah.
they say it so simple that it makes us, yeah, it's very simple, we can also enjoy. So that time the person gets confused
Yeah.
whether to enjoy or uh, or to be on the spiritual.
Yeah. So that's why I
uh,
told you satsang is very important. So we are all influenced by whom we associate with. If 10 people tell you that alcohol is good, alcohol is good, alcohol is good, you will also get convinced like that. If you're living with those people, then you feel that this is the way of life. But when you're with devotees, you get a different mindset. So it's all about how we view life, and that viewing life depends on whom we associate. So we are all the sum product of whom we associate with. Association molds who we are.
hmm,
We are all shaped by association. Like we have all gone to schools and colleges, right?
yeah.
So wherever we have studied, that has shaped our thoughts and views. So similarly, if we associate with devotees, then we can actually change.
So how to overcome the attachment and the aversion towards having something?
Yeah, that's a good question. So Krishna in the Gita, he uses these two words. Uh, Dvesha is aversion, and attachments is raga.
Yeah.
Attachments. So basically, these are, in one sense, two extremes. The mind flips between both.
Yeah.
Sometimes the mind wants something, it is attached to something, and after some time, the very mind is detached from it. He is averse to it.
Yeah.
Friend, enemies. So mind works in these pendulums.
Yeah, correct.
In Sanskrit, this is called sankalpa vikalpa, acceptance, rejection. This is what the mind does. So in order to go beyond it, one needs a higher purpose in life.
Yeah.
You have to go beyond the mind. Just like students, for all the students, it's very difficult to focus, to control the mind. But if their goal is very clear, no, I want to, do great in life, I want to become very successful, then even if the mind tells you do this while you're studying, the mind tells you do this, do that, you remain focused. So when the focus and the purpose is not there, then the mind starts to play around.
So you spoke about the students. So how to tell such students from 4 years till 15 years, they need focus first of all, because there's lots of thing technology is there to distract them. So how to get them into the right path
Yeah.
according to Bhagavad Gita? What does it say?
So basically, uh, in the Bhagavatam, it is explained, Prahlad Maharaj is teaching, Skomaram Achare Pragyo. One should start actually teaching this Gita from childhood.
Okay.
From childhood, one should actually start it. Because, when someone becomes old, elderly, and even a young guy, very difficult to change things.
Yeah.
Education happens in childhood.
Correct.
Spiritual education should actually start from childhood.
Okay.
So how do you do it? I mean, you have to teach children stories of Ramayana, Mahabharata, the lessons from it. All children love stories.
Correct.
Which child doesn't love story? But because we are not, as parents, as elders, we don't know the story of Gita, Ramayana, Mahabharata. We don't know to teach this. So therefore, we look at some other stories from outside. But if you teach this, you will understand such beautiful lessons. You understand the character of Lord Ram, how Lord Ram was, he had a lot of discipline, he had respect, he had control. We understand the character of Hanumanji, his dedication, his surrender. So when children hear these role models in the form of stories, their character actually develops.
Correct.
Shivaji, we all know how powerful Shivaji Maharaj was. Single-handedly, he dealt with all the Mughals, the British.
Yeah.
Shivaji's education was his mother Jijabai taught Shivaji Ramayana Mahabharata.
Correct.
Just by learning these books, these stories, Shivaji developed that character. Pakka character. No corruption, no giving into weaknesses with women. Very, very pakka. So teaching the children right in the beginning is very important. Two things. First is teaching children stories, and then teaching children through your example. Many times parents want a shortcut. They'll teach children scriptures, they'll teach children stories, but they themselves will not follow it. Child doesn't understand that language. The child also has to also see the parents following that path. Parents having character. If you tell the child, don't speak lies, and the child sees that you are speaking a lie, how will the child think?
Yeah.
The child will think that this doesn't work. So setting right examples is also necessary.
So kindly illuminate us the difference between Bhagavad and Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, good question. So many people think that both are the same. So these are two very important books in the land of India, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, which is also called Bhagavat. So the difference is that Bhagavad Gita is what is spoken by Krishna. The instructions of Krishna for humanity is called Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavat means God and Gita means song, yeah, instructions. So the instructions of Krishna for that Supreme Lord for humanity is called Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
Bhagavatam is the activities of God.
Oh.
So Bhagavad Gita is what God said. Bhagavatam is what God did.
Did actions.
His pastimes, his stories, like that.
Okay.
The pastimes of Krishna, the pastimes of Lord Ram, of his various avatars,
Okay.
of great devotees, Prahlad Maharaj, all that. All these are there in Bhagavatam. So Bhagavad Gita has 700 verses. The Bhagavatam has 18,000 verses. So if Bhagavad Gita is like a graduate study, Bhagavatam is a postgraduate study. More detail. Bhagavad Gita has some understanding of God, but if you want to know more about God and about spirituality, Bhagavatam. So Bhagavad Gita is a conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. Arjuna is asking questions, Krishna is answering. Bhagavatam is conversation between Parikshit and Shukdev Goswami. Parikshit is grandson of Arjuna, and Shukdev Goswami is the son of Vyasdev. So basically, when Parikshit is the emperor of the world, but when Parikshit is cursed that he will die in 7 days, so Parikshit goes and hears from Shukdev Goswami. He's asking questions. What is the duty of a person who's about to die? What is the duty of human beings? How one can perfect life? What is spirituality? all this very detailed, deep questions, and then Shukdev Goswami is answering.
What does Gita says about the sin?
About sin.
Sin, yeah.
Yeah. So Gita speaks about 3 kinds of karma: karma, vikarma, akarma.
Okay.
Karma basically means good activities, like you give charity, you speak well, you give someone water, food. These are good activities. Vikarma is sinful activities. Yeah, papmai karya. So sinful activities. What is sinful activities? You may say. So sinful activities, scriptures basically classify into 4.
Okay.
One is having illicit connections with men or women outside the marriage boundary,
Okay.
which is considered to be a very sinful and a very contaminating activity. You get implicated basically.
Yeah.
Sin is something, the activity in which you get implicated and then you start to suffer a lot.
Yeah.
So we know that people who get into illicit connections, even though they may be happiness, but then there's a lot of suffering involved in it. Life becomes hellish basically. So this is one sinful activity. Other is intoxication of any form, whether it is alcohol or drugs or any of this, which is also considered to be sinful. It's not recommended. The third is gambling. So the reason gambling is sinful is because you're trying to get money which is not yours, in a very easy way, in a wrong way. So that's also considered to be sinful. The reason is because people who gamble, you will also find them getting into all other addictions. Gradually they'll start smoking, drinking, womanizing and all that. And the fourth is eating meat also, because it's violence. You're killing a entity for your own enjoyment. So that is also considered an act of sin. So when we do these acts, we may suffer in the next life, but we may suffer in this life only.
Okay.
Like someone who drinks a lot, he may have some issues with his liver and things like that, kidney and things. You will see issues coming up in this world only. So therefore scriptures recommend us that we stay away from nishiddachar, stay away from these wrong activities.
So basically, as a human being, we tend to do mistakes.
Yeah.
Some do mistakes and they overcome, some suffer from it.
Yeah.
So according to Bhagavad Gita, how to overcome these mistakes and sufferings?
Yeah. So you overcome mistakes by learning from them.
Yeah.
And to learn from them, see, you have to first attend satsangs, you have to read Bhagavad Gita. Because many times, people commit mistakes, they don't even realize that they're committing mistakes. They commit the same mistake again and again. Because they're not realizing, they're not aware. But when we actually come to satsangs like that, then we realize gradually that consciousness comes, we realize that we are doing a mistake. And then you rectify it, you take help, you take support, have the right association and then rectify. And how you overcome reactions, definitely if you commit a sinful activity, suffering is so inevitable. But Krishna tells in the Gita, this is like the final, almost a conclusive verse of Bhagavad Gita: Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishyami ma suchah. So Krishna says, aham tvam sarva papebhyo. Pap is sinful activities, mistakes basically. So Krishna says, if you surrender to him, even if you have done lot of wrong activities, Krishna will still take care of you. Krishna will protect you, provided you surrender. You take to the process of bhakti and don't commit those activities again. Then Krishna will take care. So we find in scripture so many personalities who are like sinful people, but they surrendered to Krishna, became great devotees. Like you have Valmiki Muni, the author of Ramayana. Valmiki Muni was actually Ratnakar, right? He should do all wrong activities, but he came in touch with Narad Muni. He started to take to bhakti. He became a great saint. So many examples like that.
So you talked about consciousness. So I had one question: how to overcome the subconscious overthinking? Basically, my thing, I'm cool throughout the process, but the end thing, when I see the thing that it will go wrong, I overthink on it, and then the I control my the mood over it. So how to stop the subconscious overthinking?
Yeah, overthinking is actually a disease. So we overthink about something which is not going to happen also. Somewhere I read a statistics. Most of the things that we think about, we fear that this will happen, that will happen. It never happens only. We are thinking, wasting our time in all these things. So the way you overcome overthinking is, one thing is trying to practice being in the present.
Yeah.
Focus on the activity that we are doing. Otherwise, many times we are doing a particular activity very often, but we are, in a different world only, right? Overthinking means you're not grounded in the reality. You're lost in your mental level, mental plane. You're lost. So being grounded in the reality. If you're reading a book, staying focused on reading the book. If you are talking to someone, staying focused on that. If you're chanting japa, you're meditating, trying to stay focused on that. In this way, one can slowly overcome the habit of overthinking. Overthinking is a disease that doesn't give any result.
Yeah.
Doesn't give any result. Every problem needs to be thought only till that much time. One time, there's this famous joke that we often tell. There was one professor, he came to a class and he told a joke, and all the children started to laugh. He told the same joke again. Again, the children laughed. He told the joke the third time. Now, children were laughing less. Fourth time, fifth time, children got fed up. So the professor asked them, if you are not laughing at the same joke again and again, why are you crying about the same problem again and again?
Yeah.
So there is a problem, we have to cry about it. I mean, we may feel bad about it, but then overthinking about that same problem is not going to solve the problem.
Correct.
Better actually go and do something about the problem.
According to the Bhagavad Gita, uh, how to overcome this jealousy and in this competition level?
Very good question. So this world, it's a place of jealousy. Even if you become successful, people will get envious and jealous and they'll
Yeah.
pull you down. Mahabharat story starts like that only. Yudhishthira was successful. He didn't create enemies, but Duryodhana became his enemy because he was jealous.
Yeah.
So you just can't stop jealousy in this world. So how do we overcome jealousy? Different ways. We can understand that if someone is becoming successful, that means God has given him that mercy, basically. Grace of God is there, that's why he's becoming successful. If we are actually getting envious of someone, what it means is we are getting envious of God. We don't like God's plan. So spiritual is when he sees others successful, he doesn't become envious, he becomes happy.
Mhm.
He becomes happy, are good, they are becoming successful. If you're becoming envious, that means you are not growing spiritually.
Okay.
So Krishna tells in the Gita, my dear Arjuna, I am telling you this knowledge of Gita because you are non-envious. So to practice spirituality, you have to develop this quality of non-envy, celebrating others' success.
Yeah.
Many times we feel that if I have to become successful, others have to be failures. But everyone can become successful. You can become successful in your field, he can become. Like nowadays, you have so many YouTube channels. So it's not that for one channel to grow, others have to become failures. Every channel can grow. Everyone can. The sky is unlimited. Resources are unlimited. So when you have this kind of understanding, that uh, holistic understanding, then you understand that, why should I become envious? Let him grow. And when you become happy seeing others progress, God will bless you with happiness also.
Yeah.
God will bless you with success. If you become envious, God will take what you have also. So it's important that we celebrate other people's.
So according to the Gita, what are the qualities of feminine
of
of a woman?
of a woman.
Yeah. So I want to know what are her strong qualities.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, some qualities are common to both man and
Yeah.
human. Humility, and these qualities are like divine qualities that everyone needs,
Yeah,
whether
yeah.
one is a man or a woman. Being humble, being tolerant, being respectful, you know these are qualities that everyone needs. Being satisfied, I would say this is one quality that highly
Yeah.
it's needed for men and even for women, because women generally tend to get attracted by so many things in this
Yeah,
world.
yeah.
So trying to remain a little more satisfied and a little more simpler is important.
So as a family, we say when we talk about the mother, she's most attached to her kids,
Yeah.
to her husband. Okay, so how she will find inner happiness and grow her spiritual path?
Good question.